Money to my people in Southern Pekik Balik Bevetongo. Something. I think the plot appears to be lost on Dennis. Look, Professor Frimpong Boateng, let me start with him. A whole program was set up. And Frimpong Boateng headed that program. He brought a report as to the kingpins who were, as it were, the dons of galamsey activities. Reported on it, according to him, submitted it to the president. No action was taken. The report was concealed for nearly 2 years until he himself came out to speak to it. So this attempt to bastardize the current processes that are ongoing, to deal with these menace that all of us agree it's become a developmental problem, is improper. Something, if the galamsey, you see, galamsey is an euphemism. It doesn't convey the level of devastation that is ongoing, the denudation, the level of denudation that's ongoing. You know, two things are happening to our environment. First, we are depleting the forest cover by cutting down timber stock. Huge trees, we are depleting that at a very faster rate. And then now we are digging the grounds, the red F. When you are in a flight from Abidjan, that is where you see the extent of the degradation in our country. So, having taken over power in January, we moved swiftly into action. What did we do? We are saying that this matter, we need to regularize the activities. Regularize the activities of the small-scale miners. What they did and called it small-scale mining regularization couldn't check galamsey. Because you have to be issued with license, you have to do all that, and the people were not ready. So community mining has been introduced as an alternative. What does that entail? It entails the involvement of everybody in a regulated environment. An area will be determined as a community mining area, and people will have plots to mine. When it is done, then there is reclamation. Reclamation is done, and then the area is planted, the environment is restored. But the community mining will not be conducted along water bodies. You didn't do that. So there's a vast difference between what we are doing presently and what you did. So the formulas are not the same. Two, you introduce water guards. Yes, I agree. But your water guards were chased out by persons who were armed. They were armed to the teeth. Your water guards were not armed. We have varied that formula. Our water guards are armed. The blue water guards, they are armed. And as we speak, just last weekend, they conducted operations and drove away arm-bearing groups who were mining in some areas that they are going to enter. So you speak of areas like the Anyuan Futu Forest Reserve section of the what is it called? The forest areas around the Jamira and the Anyuan Futu Forest Reserves in the Ofin shelter bed. They went to work in those areas. They are working around Boli and that stretch all the way to Hamley area. And every day they go around and check they check galamsey activities. So, burning of excavators that you did, you didn't just burn excavators. You actually brought, according to Amau, we brought over 500 excavators to Accra and parked them at an area between Medina Old Road and Adenta, that stretch, that aviation open space, open land. The excavators have all vanished. during your time. So you introduced measures. You were not committed to implementing the measures to its effective implementation. So your measures failed. Our measures are not failing. So the call about the imposition of an emergency or a state of emergency, yes, constitutionally provided. Article 21, Article 31, they make those provisions. But would the imposition of a state of emergency resolve the matter? I think that there's an alternative to the imposition of a state of emergency. Because if you declare a state of emergency, you require a lot more resources to enforce it. But if you declare what I will call security zones, if you identify the galamsey prone areas, you declare them as security zones. It is easier, they are compartmentalized. It's easier to mobilize policemen as well as military men to now guard those areas to prevent persons from entry. Then you also will take proactive steps to go in and reclaim the degraded environment and restore the water bodies. Because the blanket imposition of a state of emergency has far more consequences in terms of logistical support and mobilization than declaration of security zones. So that will be my response to him in respect of that. Now, we have about 288 forest reserves. Out of that, about 44 have been degraded. Out of that 44, as we speak, a lot have been reclaimed, over 20. And the reclamations from the galamsey people has not been whimsical, they've been driven out. We are actually prosecuting galamseyers. You couldn't prosecute many. You couldn't. Now, in addition, in addition to these measures, we have also introduced what we call earth-moving equipment tracking. What does that mean? Because to degrade the environment, you don't need, it's not about shovel and pickers matter. You need very heavy earth-moving equipment. And an earth-moving equipment is an equipment that is monstrous. So they are imported. Who are the people who import these earth-moving equipment like excavators? If you are not a road contractor or into very major civil engineering projects in the country, why would you bring in an excavator? For what purpose? Or you are not into mining, licensed, registered heavy mining company. So far, about 1,200 excavators are being tracked, or they've been fitted with tracking equipment. So where the excavator moves to, it is tracked, it is checked. Those that are in the wild and they are not licensed for the purpose for which they are supposed to be done, they are being confiscated. And those who have legitimate reasons to bring in the excavators that are presently at the port, in conjunction with the Ministry of Transport, the GRA, the Customs Division, as well as the Ministry of Communication, some policies have been put in place to fit all these new ones with tracking machines or equipment, so that they are not transported to galamsey or our forest areas for purposes of degradation. Then in addition to this is the menace of chamfan, this Chinese machine called chamfan. The task force is also tracking the chamfan and destroying them. And then we're also checking the importation of this chamfan. Because even though it serves as a generator in some communities, they are not brought in as generators. They're actually brought in at water sapping, soil sapping, fine soil sapping machines that aid them in the galamsey activities. So these are some of the clear-cut measures. All right? So, my brother, we must commend government for the efforts that we are putting in place, very proactive measures to check galamsey. I am an environmentalist, and as a person who takes keen interest in geography and tourism, degradation of our green forest belts is actually hurting our tourism potentials because they are destroying tourist, very beautiful tourist attractions.
So before you get into that,